Hey folks. I'm not long been out of the shower, so my hair's still kind of mank, but I'll live. Right, let me just. Okay, yes. Oh, I left my water bottle. I filled up my water bottle now. I put it down and pick it up. Let me just go grab it. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm not gonna press that button again. It's probably very loud. Okay, right. So picking up where we left off yesterday. I didn't get a chance to do any work on this book last night because the game I ran last night normally would finish at about 10 o'clock. We finished at midnight, halfway through a combat. Red Hand of Doom is fucking gnarly. I love it. I've like a lot of the big fights thus far have been kind of disappointing for me. Like the players have just kind of steamrolled over them without much trouble at all. But yeah, this time around the players are having like a really difficult time. They've taken a bunch of damage. The enemies have retreated and healed up, like actually healed up. And yeah, there are a bunch of level 6 characters who are missing a bunch of their spell slots. The level 6 characters are missing a bunch of their spell slots. Most of them are missing half of their health or more. Most of their big heals are gone. And they still have 3 CR7 creatures to deal with on a time limit as well. They have a timer. It's pretty sick. It is very cool. But yeah, say the we're gonna carry on today, and we're gonna make some. I'm gonna finish the Cortex blooms because I had a thing I specifically wanted to do with the Cortex bloom, and I wasn't able to do it. So the problem with that is that it needs to be a stat block that fits in one column, and then I need to make a second Cortex bloom that also fits on one column, which is gonna be difficult. But I think I can probably do it. I feel like making two, like maybe a CR5 and a CR7 is maybe the way to go. Oh, I also need to make the Cortex Medulla because that was a thing. I started it and I didn't actually like make that much progress in doing it. So yeah, let's start with that. Basically, the plan for today is I'm going to stream until around about 6 o'clock. And then yeah, I'm gonna like, well, I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna shut my phone. So yeah, the things I have left to do is finishing the Cortex blooms. I'm probably going to scrap making new myconids because every time I've just like not come up with any new ideas. New Woads I'm going to try. There's the Kelpies, there's the big Titan guy, and there's the evil myconids. I am not going to finish all of this today, but I'm going to do as much as I can. Right. Let's see. Multi-attack. Right, let's grab Psychic Lash. Plus 9, that's plus 12. .22 psychic damage. Let's go 40-10 for now. That's 11, that's 22, that's 28 points of damage. Yeah. Let me check something. I need to look at Synaptic Static. And then I need to look at... Oh, I think there's a creature in Golem that does this, actually. Hang on. I think there's a creature in Golem that does something... Hang on, now, why am I opening the PDF? I literally have, like, the file. Like, it's right here. Golem. Let me look at the Horned Devil, because that has the tech that I'm looking for. No, I don't have this tech in Golem, never mind. Must use it somewhere else. Oh, hang on. There we go. I just had to, like, mute so I could cough. Right. God damn it. I can't. Attack roll, ability check, saving throw. I do. God damn! I wish. One of the keywords I like about 1D&D is ability or D20 test. Just refers to all of them, and then because obviously referring to just 2 of them is not that big of a deal, but all 3 of them, attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, that is like 7 fucking words. Like when it could just be 2 very short words. It can be 7 letters and a space as opposed to 7 words. Let me just make sure I'm spelling adult right. I am. I is for instance, isn't it? For instance, abbreviation is... No, that's EG. I swear, there is a creature that has this tech. Maybe I can just do that. The size of the die roll increases by 1 size up to a maximum of a d12. So it can mind lash you a bunch of times, or psychic lash you a bunch of times, and then you have no, like, you got no juice left. Give it a mind blast. Oh. Psychic energy in a 60-foot cone. Oh, capital B, because it's a tag. Other than the Cortex bloom, caught in the area must make a DC. Oh god, what DC does this thing have? 20. On a failure. Oh shit, can't spell. Failure, a creature takes. I guess how much does the Elder Brain mind blast you for? Because it'd probably just be more than that. Oh, I forgot they add their intelligence to their mind blasts. Forgot that was even a thing. I might then do this and let it add its 28 plus 4 is 32. $60-10 is 33. That's so 39 points of damage, I think. Let me just yeah. Why did I do plus 6 on the? Of course, 3 plus 6 is 9. Wait, no, why am I putting this here? Like, there we go, pull myself in a bit. Oh, right. Mind Spore, 1 word or 2 words? 1 word. You know what? For the sake of my sanity. Ah, yes. I'm gonna have this thing be the one that, where is the, here we go. While the Mind Spore persists, I can see within 60 feet of it, which survives in the, oh, no, within, oh. Um, yeah. That's something I need to put in all the Mind Spore abilities, actually, is that they should be immune. Isn't protected by a Mind Blank spell. Oh no, that's the wrong. Swallows in the target's mind for 8 hours. While the Mind Spore persists, the target has... So, on the surface, ability does very little. I say that actually. I need to put the reproducing thing in here as well, because they can do that. If a creature dies while afflicted with the Mind Spore... Maybe they should just be... Hang on. Um... And I want this. So mental control. I haven't got a name for it. I'll come up with one in a minute. So, you know, DC 20 Wisdom saving throw. Brain domination. Assume dominate person requires sight. Um. Cast dominate person this way. Has a range of 2 miles, but it must target a creature under the effect. There we go. Brain domination. So it dominate persons you. Yeah, that's fucked up. It's really fucked up. I really like that. That's very cool. Okay, right. Um, Okay, right. I like that. We're going to go on to legendary actions now. Right, we're going to do legendary actions next. Um, let me just check something real fast. If it ignores, let me look at Rawlathim's Psychic Lance. I like Psychic Lance. It's a cool spell. Shut up. Fucking ugh. So annoying. Right, how much damage? We'll say we'll just go 2d10 plus well, 2d10 plus 6, that's 17 damage. So Psionic Bolt has 3 legendary actions. Oh. Let me read Dominate Person, make sure it doesn't remove your ability to take reactions. Moves up to its speed. Has a range of 2 miles. It doesn't require. The Cortex Plume must target a creature that the Cortex Plume can telepathically communicate with, or that is under the effects of its Mind Spore bonus action. I'll just be able to fill this. It's Fey reinforcements. Move to its speed in the direction of the Cortex Plumes. I wrote dominate person again. Dominate monster. Yeah, this thing has become instantly very, very scary. This should probably cost 2. So Psionic Bolt, Psychic Command, that's something I need to look at. Telepathic, because the Elder Brain has something like this. Yeah, let's give it Telepathic Hub. Right, one more legendary action. It's got to be like a... Oh, fuck it. Maybe it can just make a Psychic Lash attack. That should be kind of cool. Ah. How to do this? So, what sort of CR are we looking at right about now? I haven't given it hit points yet. But it has legendary resistance, it has magic resistance. I feel like letting it do a Psychic Lash is maybe a bit much. I mean, we'll see how it shapes out, I guess. So Psychic Lash, we're looking at 28 times 6 plus 39 plus 19. It's about 180 damage. And it has a DC of 20. That is offensive CR 23. That is too much. I think we need to take the Psychic Lash out of this. It's 164 damage. Still offensive CR 22. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. We're gonna pull that down. Gonna pull down the damage of the Psychic Lash, I think is probably the way to go about it. Pull it down to 3d10, which is 16, that's 22 points of damage. So that's 66, 17 times 3 is 7's 14, 21, it's 51. We could pull that down too, which I think we might. That's 146 damage. Still too high. Yeah, we're gonna pull down the Psionic Bolt damage to 2d8 plus 6 psychic damage. No, I won't. This thing is brutal. It can Mind Spore you one turn, Psychic Lash you a bunch of times. Oh, the damage is even higher because whenever it takes Psychic damage, it takes an extra 1d10 damage. Oh. Yeah, this thing definitely does too much damage. 17 and 2d6 plus 6, that's 13. Well, 2d8 is 9 plus 6 is 15, so we'll go with that for now. So 17 plus 13 is 30, so that's 90 points of damage. .5 times 6 is, well, it's 60/10, which is 33. That's 135 damage now, with Mind Spore taken into account as well. It's still too high. I guess it's the fact that it can use Mind Blast as a part of its multi-attack. But, like, that's interesting is the problem. Like, that's actually really interesting. Like, monsters that have, like, dynamic or, you know, can... Oh, I've got hair on my mouth or something. Yeah. I need to change this legendary action too, because being able to make 1,000,000 Psychic Lash attacks is definitely not something I wanted to be able to do. No. Maybe some kind of utility ability. Let's do that instead. I didn't really want to spend like an hour working on the Cortex Medulla, but like, this thing is very cool. Could give it a teleportation ability, maybe? Yeah, fuck it. We'll give it a teleport. It's kind of harmless. fiends can teleport. No, they're very specifically can't. Maybe, I think Balors can? I think the demons, they get a lot of teleporting abilities. Magically teleports on with any equipment it's wearing a... Maybe I reduce the damage of Mind Blast. It's probably reasonable. It's 5d10 is 22, 27, 33. That's 131. That's offensive CR20. I guess this thing is just CR18 now, like at least. Which honestly is kind of fine. CR18. We need big CR plants anyway, so that's fine. I say that like it wasn't already very high CR, but you know what I mean. Right, so it is huge. It has a constitution of 20. Well, let's start with a baseline of 18 hit dice. It's not enough. Let's go to 24. That's a lot better. I think we need to bring it down maybe 1. Yeah. 23d12. 23 times 5, not even going to bother doing the math on that. Wait, no, I probably actually need to. 115. Never mind, I didn't actually need to. 264 hit points. You know what? Yeah. This bad boy, blind sight 2 miles. Fuck them. What are they gonna do? They're gonna fucking cry about it. That's what they're gonna do. You know what? I might do. I might put Sonic Bolt in here. Exactly fits on one line. Psychic Lash or Psionic Bolt attacks and uses Mind Blast if available. I'm trying to think of maybe one more interesting ability to give it that isn't necessary. Maybe just like a fluff ability or something. I realised I should be able to take up a lot of room with just describing the layer of a Cortex medulla, because I can move this stat block down a little bit and then fill up most of this screen. But I might try and add just a little more, not necessarily spice, but like, so it's like some fluff to this stat block. And I'm not sure exactly how to go about doing that, like what to do specifically. Oh, I have no idea. No, I have a better idea. I would also make it so this thing can't be charmed. Wait, hang on. Gains immunity. Psychic damage, the charmed condition. Each allied Cortex bloom within 2 miles of the Cortex bloom gains immunity to psychic damage, any effect that would sense its emotions or read its thoughts, divination spells, and the charmed condition. Speaking of psychic damage, hang on. Let me think, like, is the Triflower Frond... No, it's not. Okay, plants aren't immune to psychic damage. Wild. I have one more idea. Thought telepathy. Now let's go. Thought telepathy. Now that's sick as fuck. I like that. This thing is terrifying. This thing fuck you up like real bad. It's a very, very scary high CR monster. This is like unbelievably scary. I am very, very happy with the Cortex ones. I'm very glad I found that art. Do they use plurals when they're referring to monsters in groups like this? Let's just look at Gollum, because Gollum will give me an answer. I can look at the Shardlings or something. No, they don't. Cortex rhizome. Cortex pitcher. Cortex medulla. Yeah, that text is not all going to fit on this page, but that's fine. Let me see how layer actions are laid out. That's actually quite important. Dragons is a good example. Ooh, no, because all dragon. No. Black dragons. Oh, they just have the same layer. Okay, fair enough. Cortex medulla's layer. Regional effects. Oh, it's layer actions first. Classic adult red dragon. No, not the Dracolich. Every time. If anything, it would make more sense to put this underneath the Cortex rhizome, because then it leads into the... But, work that out. Doesn't really matter. Oh, Christ. I guess it'd be... or become restrained by the tendrils. Um, I don't think what other effects they could even have. Oh, 2d4 Cortex sprouts. I mean, yeah, they're like CR fourth. They're actually just kind of harmless. Hmm. Let's look at regional effects. How do they work? Purple alien plants. Purplish in color and grow in strange alien ways. Cool. Oh, chair's going over. Turn that back. Plants within 2 miles of the Cortex medullus layer are purplish in color and glow and grow in strange alien ways. Any creature that consumes them suffers the effects of the Cortex medullus mind spore bonus action. Any creature within 2 miles. Should it just be creatures? Yeah, it should just be creatures. Creatures within 2 miles of the Cortex medullus layer grow increasingly anxious and paranoid. After 1 hour in the area, the creature starts to hear unintelligible whispers from the passing telepathic messages of nearby Cortex blooms. Need 1 more regional effect. to think of another one, but I can't come up with anything. Hmm. Unless tamed by any creature frightened in this way must use such. A beast trained for combat. Most likely on the website. I know they put out stat blocks for a bunch of the characters in the movie. I haven't seen a huge amount about it. It looks genuinely very good, but I'm not gonna watch it because Hasbro don't deserve my money. Hasbro are banking super hard on the D&D movie doing well, to prove that they're handling the Wizards of the Coast brand well, which they aren't. Handling it very, very badly. Yeah, I ain't giving them my money. They can fuck off. Obviously, no hate to anybody who wants to go and see it. I'm not, like, that's cringe. But I'm not gonna. Even if the movie is as good as it might possibly be, I ain't gonna pay to see it, that's for sure. Right, I'm gonna take a break there because I want to go get a drink. I'll be back in like 5 minutes or so, and then I'm gonna go on and do the Woads. I'm very happy with the Cortex modular though. Honestly, all the Cortex blooms are cool as fuck. I'm very much looking forward to like writing about these guys. But yeah, I'll be back in like 5 minutes or so. See you in a minute. Okay, I'm back. Right. So, next thing on the docket is the Wood or the Woads. Right. So let me look at Woads like as monsters. Wood. Where Wood? Here. Right. So Woads are CR5 guys. They aren't I'm just reading an important text. Remember about that. I'm gonna put that on the side and remember about that later. Right. So yeah, Woads are like lawful neutral plant creatures. They're about CR5. The main issue I really have with them... Wait, what the fuck? That must be a misprint. That has to be... Hang on a second. That has got to be an error. I refuse to believe that is their attack bonus. This has got to be an error here. It is. Okay, yeah, it's an error. No, I misread it, and then there was also an error. It's fine. Right. So, yeah, Woodwards are cool. I do like them, but they have the same kind of problem that Treants do, where they're not that interesting mechanically, and they don't really do a lot either. So I would want to redesign the Woodward at least a little bit, and give them some more, give them some unique abilities, because the only thing they have regeneration, which is good, and they have tree stride, which is also very cool, but do insert block. Wood, it is a medium plant. Wood, they are typically lawful neutral. Oh, that's a thing I didn't do for the Cortex blooms. There we go. I've got to add the typically. I've gone back and like the adding typically to the stat blocks is silly, because that's what the alignments meant anyway. They were a suggestion, and people just don't read the opening 3 pages of the monster manual that explain that. But it does add sort of a visual, like, it is telling you that, it is, instead of it being like a theoretical thing, it's like, generally these creatures are this alignment, but whatever, who cares? Which, again, was already the case. I can't stress that enough. Like, a lot of the changes to presentation that were caused by all of the drama that happened in 2020 over the writing in Volos about the orcs and the drow, and some other races as well, but most of the orcs were the focus, was because there's because the I think I've spoken about this before, but a lot of that sort of, well, a lot of that like drama was drummed up by people who don't quite understand the context as to why the books are written like that, or for instance don't know that putting an alignment on like a race or a monster is already a suggestion. Like, it's explicitly described as a suggestion. It's just supposed to be, you know, this is the basic, this is the fantasy basic for this game. Do whatever you want with it, though. And people will default to the basic because it's easy to, you know, to choose the default than to spend a bunch of time thinking about the, you know, like, if you want to run a generic D&D game, you're not really going to be thinking about, like, the culture of the orcs, so you're going to use the one that's in the books already. The problem with that, and like the good part of the argument, is that why are the orcs just evil by default? The reason is that, you know, the context that a lot of people either didn't know or didn't care to know is that D&D bases all of its default lore, especially in 5th edition, off of the Forgotten Realms, in which the orcs are like, they're evil because there is an evil god who, like, pseudo mind controls them constantly. The orcs themselves, outside of that influence, are pretty chill guys, but there's still this evil entity that makes them the way that they are. I think it's, although makes them that way. I say like that because the way they are is just normal. They're just dudes. But yeah, the books are written with that in mind, and that is a mistake. They shouldn't be, because it leads people to the conclusion that people who don't know that came to fairly naturally. Yeah, like D&D's kind of racist sometimes, and kinda, yeah, kinda is, and they've walked back on a lot of that, and it, you know, like, they sort of stripped away a lot of the fluff and the flavor because they use the Forgotten Realms as sort of a basis for all of their lore, and the Forgotten Realms, for the most part, is actually quite an interesting setting. It's a little generic in place. Certainly, contemporary Forgotten Realms lore is kind of bland and boring, but the rest of it's actually quite interesting. Yeah, it's going pretty good. I finished up the Cortex blooms. I specifically made, it took an hour and a half, I believe, but I made, where the fuck is it? Here we go. The Cortex medulla. Stat block looks like this, and it has a layer that looks like this. Pretty happy with how it came out, though. It looks really good. But yeah, I'm talking about, at the moment, the, I can't remember what spurred it on. I don't remember what the fuck I was thinking about that led me here. But the, all of the 2020, like, oh, that was it. It was, I forgot to put typically in some of the stat blocks. I was talking about, like, why they put typically in the stat blocks now, and, like, all the drama nonsense that happened in, I think it was in 2020, where someone who I would wager to be either very new to D&D, or someone who, someone who's either very, very new to D&D, I don't remember who it was, and it doesn't really matter who it was, I don't care, made an observation about, like, a specific passage of text in Volo's Guide to Monsters about orcs, and how, without any context as to why, I'm being too, I'm giving WotC too much credit. It is kind of racist. It's kind of racist. It is written in a way that is not representative of, like, how you're supposed to interpret it. It's like, oh, orcs are evil. It's like, no, they aren't. Forgotten Realms orcs are often evil because Groomsh is evil, and he specifically goes out of his way to personally influence and control most, if not all, orcs. Like, full on, like, I am gonna induce psychotic rage in you kind of shit, so that you do the murder that I want you to do. What do you mean you want to just be a chill guy and, like, go eat bread and start a farm? No, you need to start murdering things now. I may be wrong. That may not be the intention at all. Maybe the intention of Ed Greenwood and, like the writers for 5th edition is that just orcs are evil because they are. And it's kind of lame. I don't know. There's definitely a line of, like, yeah, they've since sort of stripped away a lot of that context, because it's sort of like they have to, because they use the Forgotten Realms as a basis in all the old books, and I do think that was a mistake, because it does lead to things like that, where things you come across, you end up with, like, defaults that are, like, kind of messed up if it's, like, if you lack the full context, and even in some cases where you have the full context, they're just kind of messed up. Yeah, I 100%. I think you're just correct. There are definitely downsides to them doing that, but yeah, I think yeah, you are outright. I think that is 100%. The obviously primarily they did it because of the backlash, but I don't think they would have done it otherwise. To be perfectly honest, the community have done a fuck ton in improving the sort of presentation of D&D in the last sort of 3 or 4 years, massively. And as much as I really didn't like a lot of the changes in, like, Murdiverse to begin with, they have grown on me a lot. And I am more or less fully on board with, like, basically all the changes that they made. I just don't like change is the main thing. But yeah, it turns out when the changes are just generally good, or at least neutral, in some cases, they grow on you. No matter how much you fucking hate change, like me. Yeah, I think, yeah, there are definitely downsides to the thing that they've done, but I think on the whole it's generally a positive. There are a lot of races, especially from the new books, which are just kind of nothing burgers. And having that kind of generic default is great, because it means that DMs don't have to think to, they can be like, oh yeah, my setting has this race and they are just like they are in the books, they're in my setting. Or because not every DM puts in 100 hours of writing a setting, and that's fine. Like, that's a perfectly valid way to play D&D, is just have a sword and sorcery adventure in a generically fantasy setting. That's completely fine. There is a lot of fun to be had in that. It's not necessarily fun for me. Well, it's not my preferred way of playing, but I certainly wouldn't complain. If the rest of the game is good, I don't care if your setting is cookie cutter and kind of bland. Like, if you're shoring up all the other angles and the rest of your game is really fucking great, I don't care. But yeah, the on the whole, like, I think, yeah, there is a very interesting distinction of people said this a lot about orcs, because orcs are very popular in lots of media and they're generally gross and evil just by nature. And so but the gnolls are a very interesting distinction in that they are a lot of the setting books do that. I say that. I think I might just be thinking of Explorer's Guide to Wildemount that does that. Explorer's Guide to Wildemount does do that and does a very good job of it. As does the Tal'Dorei book as well, which isn't published by WotC, but I think it's published by Green Ronin. The Tal'Dorei remastered and the original one as well. I have the original. It's in my pile of books somewhere. It's near the bottom, I think, but it's in there. Yeah, those do a very good job. Like, those gazetteers about what the races of your setting are like is cool. Yeah, I mean, Spelljammer, everything about the Spelljammer book I think the biggest thing that I think setting books need to do the fuck away with is put those fucking adventures in the bin. No one runs them. No one likes them. I've never seen anyone anywhere say, "Oh, I ran the House of Lament from Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft." No, you didn't. You didn't run it. You didn't run Light of Zarxis. No one ran it. I mean, objectively, someone did, but like the vast majority of people buy the setting books for the character options and the setting and the monsters. Like those are the things that people buy the books for, but they always just cram in like a 40-50 page adventure. Sometimes less, but they cram in an adventure at the end when they could just use that space for more good content. That's a, you know, the Spelljammer was terrible. It was a terrible series of books. The monsters are okay. Everything else is fucking awful. Just bare bones, bottom of the barrel shite. The monsters are decent. The player options, less said about the Hattersy the better, but the others are fine. But the Hattersy's just a fucking train wreck on all fronts. Jesus fucking Christ. But the rest of it is fine. But they could have just cut the Light of Zarxis entirely. You don't need it. Give me. I don't want one mid-adventure. I don't want one mid-adventure. I want like 2 pages of adventure prompts. That would be great. That would be fantastic. But we don't get that. We get one adventure that no one runs. And they all, like, it's not that they're bad. I don't know. I've never read any of them because I've never had any desire to run any of them. If I want to run your setting, I'm just going to run it. I'm not going to run the tiny little shit book that you the tiny little pocket adventure you jammed into the adventure. Like, I'm not going to do that. That's fucking stupid. Yeah, I'd say it's ridiculous. Give me a list of cool encounters. Give me maps. Give me adventure ideas. Have a chapter. Have like a 10, 20 page chapter on that at the back of your book, and then save the other 20 pages of that adventure for writing more actual content. Write more about the rules for your setting. Write more about the lore. Spelljammer was killed by its page count. That book must have been so fucking... Those books must have been so fucking expensive to publish. Because there's 3 of them. That's 3 hardcover books. They're all tiny. They're like this thick. But they're hardcovers in a big shell case. That's so much money. Why are you wasting it? It's... Spelljammer is, like, really sad. My friend Joe absolutely fucking loves Planescape. And he's converting Planescape himself. He's running a Planescape campaign for me and my friends in the next couple months or so. He's been working on it for like a year at this point. He is not at all interested in the Planescape book because he knows, and we all know, it's going to be exactly like Spelljammer. It's going to be a pile of shit. The Bigby book of Giants, it's going to be like Fizzbarns. It's going to be shit. The only one I'm even slightly interested in is Phandelver campaign. Because I really like The Lost Mine of Phandelver. It's a really fucking good adventure. Like, genuinely, it's really good. And The Lost Mine of Phandelver being updated to, like, contemporary 5e standards is, like, that's a product I would write. Hell, that's a product I want to write. Lost Mine of Phandelver remastered. That sounds awesome. I want to do that now. I probably won't, but I would want to do that. That's actually very cool. Just making Phandelver and the adventure as a whole just more exciting and a little less fucking brutal. That would, that would be a major factor. But yeah, D&D's, the quality of like things in D&D have sort of gone all over the place the last sort of 3 or 4 years. The Tasha's is awesome. I love the direction they took the classes. Peace and Twilight, maybe not. It's a bit much. But the rest of them are super cool. 1D&D is literally just full reversing in the opposite direction. It's making everything as bad as it possibly can. Which is like, cool, great. Like, just as 5e was starting to like really like dig below the surface of its design potential. And it's like, nah, start from scratch. Hell, start from further back than we were before, for the sake of streamlining. Which, one day it's fucking shit. There's great things to steal. There's little things great to steal. It's fucking shit though. Otherwise, a new fucking spellcasting system makes me want to gag every time I look at it. It's so bad, so fucking bad. Either way, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop going on about dumb shit that WotC have done in the past. You know, I straight up haven't even mentioned the dumb thing they did not 2 months ago. Because can't forget about that, can we? They almost crashed the entire hobby. Well, they did crash the entire hobby for like a month. Had a book that came out around then that just completely tanked because no one was fucking buying D&D books. Because of course they fucking weren't. The Price of Justice sold terribly, like unbelievably badly. That adventure's really fucking good. I'm really proud of that adventure. I wrote most of it on stream. It's a good adventure. I'm very proud of it. Yeah. Tasha's Witchlight and Van Richten's and Murdyverse are all really good. Keys from the Golden Vault, I've had a skim of it. I think I'm going to run it. It looks good. But 5e adventures are, like, most of them are okay. Like, there's I say that's a lie. There's a lot of 5e adventures I literally couldn't care any less about. All the ones where you just traipse around the Forgotten Realms doing fuck all. Yeah, all of those can piss off. I hate all of those adventures. Storm King's Thunder, both of the Dragon ones. I have heard a lot of good things about Radiant Citadel. The individual adventures seem interesting, but it is definitely a book that is all the things I would... Because I'm not really that fussed about adventure anthology books. I don't really care. The only reason Golden Vault interests me is specifically because it's a series of heists that are in some way interconnected. And with a bit of work, you can make like an actually really interesting campaign out of it. The reason I don't give much of an arse about the Radiant Citadel is because, once again, page count, butchering all the content out of a book that I actually want, is the chapter on the Radiant Citadel, which they gave out for free, is like 4 pages. And it's the name of the book. It's what the book is. And we know so little about it. I want to know about all the important NPCs in the Radiant Citadel. I know the writers put out like another book on the DM's Guild, which is really cool. Like I'm fucking down for that. Like I don't know what's in that book either. Like I maybe buying that book as well as a supplement fixes all my problems with Radiant Citadel. I don't know, but I would want Radiant Citadel to contain all of the content that I would want to know about the Radiant Citadel. I'm not really that fussed about the adventures, even if they are good, because generally the way I run D&D, I can't really run them in the way that the way that I run D&D makes running those adventures in the campaigns I make just kind of impossible. I don't run like multiverse hopping campaigns really at all, especially lengthy. Adventures, they're not all like one-shots. They're like, they're short adventures, but they're not one-shots either. There's a lot of cool concepts though. I do like the Radiant Citadel on principle has a lot of things that I very, very much like. It's that classic like, let's base a society on a real-world culture, except it's written from the perspective of by someone who actually fucking knows what they're writing about, and therefore it comes across as really authentic and really interesting and just a good read. I've not read Radiant Citadel, but everything I've heard about Radiant Citadel says exactly that. Yeah, I do like it. I like Radiant Citadel on principle, but in practice it's not really of much use to me. But yeah, I'm let's give them right. I still I put 3 T's in a text. I'm still of the opinion that Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft is the best setting book, and by like a lot. That is my bias because I love Ravenloft, and I've written 2 whole fucking books about Ravenloft. Right, Ravenloft is like I've come to the conclusion as of very recently that Ravenloft is like my, like, I know a lot of people who have like exactly one, or well, maybe multiple very, very specific pieces of media that is like their everything, you know, like it's the thing that they care about. And Ravenloft is exactly that for me. And I haven't really had one of those since I was like a child, you know, like you know, since I was like 10. Having something I like, you know, that like, this is my thing. This is the thing that I know almost everything there is to know about, and I love it, and I wanna like, I wanna, you know, I like you. I think I've said before, I think just to like a friend or something, I can't remember, that like you could set up an internet connection and a computer in like the fucking undercroft of some dingy old cathedral and pipe melancholic fucking piano music in through the walls, and I would write Ravenloft books until I ran out of food and water, or until I just died of natural causes. Like, become a fucking church undercroft ghoul, some Edgar Allan Poe motherfucker writing about misery forever. That's like, I'd pay to do that. It's so good. I fucking love Ravenloft so much. I've written 2 books on it. You can go and oh, I ruined it. No, I was being all sincere, and I was even jokingly advertising. It's like, no, that feels dirty. I fucking hate that. It is funny, but I'm still like, no, that's gross. I was being sincere about a thing that I like, and no, cringe. Right. All right. Let's fix up the Woodwode a bit. Mostly just like, he just has a club. He just bonks you with his club, and that's all he does. He's a really interesting monster, and his only ability is bonking you with his club. It kind of sucks. I like him though. He's a cool guy. I like him. Plant camouflage. Can I spell camouflage? I can. Good. Look at me go. I sure can spell words that, I don't know, like a 6th grader would be able to spell. Oh, it has troll regeneration. I didn't quite. I saw it had regeneration. I realized it had. Yeah. It's. I mean, yeah. It doesn't sound quite as insincere when you put it like that, but yeah, it is like I have very, very like personal feelings towards those 2 books that I wrote. I've only really sort of consolidated that sort of fact in the past few months. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, to be able to get them in print at some point, because I not because I give a shit about making money on selling them. Like, you know, making money is nice. I like making money, but more than anything, I want those books in my hands. You know, like I wanna, you know, I think I was speaking to the publisher of those books, CZRPG, I'll go like Christian, about it a few days ago. Actually, I think it was on Monday maybe, and I think because I've made like a lot of stuff and I put it on the guild, and I'm proud of a lot of the stuff that I've made. In fact, most of the things I made I'm quite proud of. But I would consider the vast majority of them to be products. They are things I made with the intention of selling them for money. I'm proud of them, I did good work on them, but those two Ravenloft books, and also the two Angela's books as well, though to a lesser extent, I think, at this point, those two Ravenloft books and the Angela's books, I think the only thing I've ever written and put out on the Guild that I would consider to be art. And, well, you know, I don't care how fucking poncy that sounds. Like, that they are, those books, the Ravenloft books especially, are artistic expression. Like, they are, you know, there is a lot of me that went into those two books. And like the Angela, you know, I think the Angela's books were fun and very personal projects because they were characters that I cared about, characters that already existed that I cared about when I wanted to put to paper. The two Ravenloft books, Van Richten's pocketbook, and oh yeah, like I mean, like I'm not saying like it can't be art, like it shouldn't be, or it shouldn't, you know, like people would not consider it art, but like from the perspective I have of, like, you know, I write and create products for D&D. That is my job. That is what I do. That is what I like to do. I love what I do. I do not give a shit that I make fuck all money doing it. I don't care. I would rather starve and keep doing this than do something else. Like, you know, like, genuinely, I love what I do. But, you know, I make products. And there's nothing wrong with making a product. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It is morally neutral to create something with the intention of selling it, as far as I'm concerned, anyway. Like, as long as you like doing it, and you're not just churning out trash for the sake of money, which I don't think I am doing. I'm making things I like and I'm proud of, that I am selling for money. But yeah, like the Angela's books did not give a shit about them selling. They didn't sell. That's you can go look on either, and neither of them are coppered. I don't know how many sales either of them have together, but it's probably only a couple dozen, and that's probably both of them put together, to be perfectly honest with you. But I don't care. I wrote these books because I wanted to, and the Ravenloft books are much more personal. Also, did a hell of a lot better, because and I don't think I'd say this to him because it sounds pejorative, but it's not. I genuinely think Christian could sell a shoe to a man with no feet. His marketing strategy is insane, and I don't know how he does it. I genuinely don't know how the fuck he does it. In no way, like, you know, he's not a fucking shill, he's not a corpo. You know, it's just him. Like, he has people he works with, like trusted people he works with, myself included. But he's just a guy. Like, he's just him. He's just good at what he does. And he puts down money and makes bets, and he always makes sure the odds are good when he makes a bet on a product. But yeah, both of the Ravenloft books are like my prized works, as it were. They are above and beyond the best thing I've ever written, and by a lot. The first one I think the first one I prefer for a number of reasons, but there's a lot of things I love just as much about the second one that I would never say that I liked it significantly less. You know, I would never say I like this less. I would say I like this more. I'd say, yeah. That kind of like mentality, kind of like objectively they mean the same thing, but like mentally they feel different. Version 2 fire. I always forget whether it's a version of fire or 2 fire. yeah, I'd also just strongly recommend just reading Van Richten's, to be perfectly honest. It's a really good book. Where is Flesh Golem? That's what I want. Let's get the Golem Flesh Golem. Here we go. Or the Golem Flesh Golem. The one I made. Because if the Wood takes fire damage, okay, cool. So yeah, removing vulnerability, because I think vulnerability is just a bad piece of design. I think it's shit. I could alternatively give it susceptibility to fire. You know, actually no, I will do that instead. I think I have. Yes, here we go. Yeah, susceptibility to fire is much more, or like damage susceptibility is, I think, much better. Because it, like a Treant is, I believe, a CR7 creature, but if you have the ability to do fire damage in your party, a CR9. Oh, yeah, hang on, I'll show that in a sec. Yeah, if you have someone who's able to do fire damage in the party, you may as well decrease its hit points by like 50%. So it goes from being like a CR9 creature to probably being like a CR4 creature, just with the simple fact of one member of the party has Scorching Ray. Because you just melt this thing's hit points off, which is absurd. Let me look at the Cortex Medulla. Where Cortex Medulla? I'm scrolling way too slowly. It's like up here somewhere. So I did decide to keep the 2 miles of blind sight just because I think it's hilarious. It has telepathic hub. It has a psychic shield, which basically mind blanks all other Cortex blooms within 2 miles of it. Its psychic lash does slightly less damage than the Cortex pitcher, but it also gives you a stacking debuff to your attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws. It has a ranged attack with a pretty gnarly range. It can, because it has telepathy 2 miles, creature sense 2 miles, and blind sight, it can mind spore you within 2 miles, and it can read your surface thoughts within 2 miles. It can also dominate monster you as well. If you have a mind spore, it can cast dominate monster on you at will. Which is, yeah, it's pretty gnarly. That was like the main thing, is I wanted to do like a mind control thing. Yeah, it took me like an hour and a half earlier on in the stream. It was like the vast majority of the stream has been that. I've done very little since. Mostly I'll just talk about Ravenloft and orcs and the fucking like visual design and of like and the book writing, whatever the words I'm trying to say. That's something I do actually need to do. Actually, no, I'll leave it for now. I also gave it lair actions as well, but they're nothing particularly crazy. Right, so the Wood. Wait, the Wood makes 2 club attacks. So I'm going to give it its club normally. Like, that's fine that it can do. I will, oh shit, I can't spell. Let's give it magic weapons. +7 to hit. Reach 5 feet. Yeah. No, yeah, that's a good analogy. I'd completely forgotten about Color Out of Space. I've not like read the book or like seen the film. I've heard the film is very good. Um, I think it's just Nicolas Cage's thing now. Is he's just a weird guy in a movie. He's a crazy guy in some random B movie. I say B movie. Was Color Out of Space had a big sort of B movie, like it had a who published it? It was produced by Elijah Wood. What? Okay, cool. Production company Spectavision. Yeah, he's always just a weird guy. Honestly, I kind of like it. I don't know. I know that's Elijah Wood's thing now, is he mostly just is a producer. He doesn't act that much anymore. At least I don't think so. Oh no, he has. Oh no, yeah, he's been. Yeah, he mostly just produces movies now. Though he does act still. He just does a lot of production. I wonder why. I mean, maybe it's just because he's Elijah Wood. He doesn't get that much work because he's just the guy who was Frodo. He was in The Last Witch Hunter. Oh. Yeah, he's not been in that much in recent years. A lot of movies I've never heard of as well. A lot of movies I've never heard of. Also, yes, he did produce Mandy. Fairly well. Currently, working on doing the Woodward, and I got distracted by the fact that Elijah Wood produced The Color Out of Space, and then finding out that he's just is a producer now, which is pretty funny or amusing. I don't know, whatever. Um, I didn't realize Nick Cage was in all of them. That is kind of funny though. I like the and yeah, Nick Cage is just a crazy guy in every movie he's in now. He's embraced who he is, and that's nice. My coffee is cold. Very nice, very nice. So I'm not running tonight, but I've already run 3 times this week. My session on Tuesday was pretty good. My session on Wednesday was rocky, but it was the actual session itself went mostly fine. My session yesterday was fantastic. It was one of the best combats I've run in a long fucking time. I mean, it's still ongoing. It was like 3 hours of combat. It was like super frantic, and the everything kept changing constantly. It was like backs and forths, and it never felt like oh, we've won, everything's fine. And they're all. I think I said at the start of the stream, they're all like 7th level characters, down a lot of resources, most of them missing a lot of health, especially like the Marshal singular, hence why they're missing a lot of their health. They have taken 2 dragon breath weapons. They're on 10 hit points of like 60. And yeah, they still have 3 CR7 creatures left to fight, one of which being a dragon. When the Marshal's exclusively melee, and 2 of the dudes are like airborne because there's a dragon and the dude who rides on the dragon's back. go read Red Hand of Doom. It's really good. It's a lot of work to convert to 5th edition in a way that makes it work. Mostly, or say mostly, just the monsters. There's a lot of monsters, and they don't map 1-to-1 to 5e. Don't try and run Red Hand of Doom without converting the monsters. It will take you a while, though, but it is fucking worth it. So good. So good. I've had poor experiences with PvP, but I feel like there's definitely ways to make it work. I personally have not seen one, but I feel like it must be doable. A lot of the time, PvP just comes down to the initiative. Whoever goes first. Yeah, a lot of PvP just comes down to initiative, in my experience. Because you go first in the initiative, you get net more turns. Basically, you're always ahead because you get to act first, so you're always a step ahead, assuming you don't like make a terrible decision. Right, what ability should I give Wood that isn't just bashing things with its club? Yeah, 100%, yeah. That is, as far as I'm concerned, if you're going to pit the players against each other, pit them against each other in, like, skill challenges and stuff. Like, an archery contest, or, a jousting thing. A wrestling thing where they go to grapple each other, or basically skill challenges and creativity. Yeah, I feel like in that instance, playing a warlock or a fighter is going to be a really unfun time. But most of the other classes will get the opportunity to be useful. I say that barbarians will do fuck all as well, because eventually you'll actually run out of rages depending on how many fights you have. And a barbarian that doesn't rage is not a character that has a class. It's pretty bad. I've gone back and forth on the idea that barbarians should even have limited uses on their rage at all, because it's just a case of like, if you can't rage as a barbarian, you don't have a class. Almost all of your abilities, all of your good abilities anyway, hinge on you raging. Like, and if you can't rage, you just can't do anything. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I feel like the fly spell is fairly reasonable because it's you spending a significant resource to cast it in the first place, and even a barbarian can still, huck a javelin. But I say a lot of DMs just do that anyway. It would depend on the campaign I was running. I think there are certainly campaigns I would run where I'm like, yeah, you can play an Aarakocra if you want, and a lot of campaigns where I would run be like, yeah, no, you're not going to play one. But that's like being in that like, yeah. But yeah, the classic like Aarakocra thing is like, oh my shoulders, God. Oh, I want to do something with the Woads' eyes, because they have like these little glowing motes of light for eyes. I think that's very cool. I feel like I could do something with them. Yeah, I like that. That's cool. Hmm. Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, AC stacking is. I think it might just be the fact that I have a lot of campaigns going on right now where like players have like ridiculous AC. Um, is I'm getting like real sick of like seeing players with like I have a 24 AC like level 7. It's like, okay, that's cool. Admittedly, one of them is my fault for letting them like have like uncommon, like start with uncommon magic items, and it's like, well, I'm kind of asking for it at that point, right? Because of course they're going to pick a +1 shield and a cloak of protection, like of course they are. Um, but yeah, even so. Yeah, and then the 26 is Shield of Faith, I would assume. Or going from 24 to 226. Mm, turn into a tree. I don't think I have done that. I don't think I have done that. I'm not sure. Hmm. Um. No, I'd want it to be like some kind of. I like the angle of like, because Woodwards are definitely like grim, but not by any means evil. Um. The a Woodward is like specifically like like they are like tree, like basically you cut out someone's heart and you put it in a tree and the tree grows into like this like this like eternal guardian, and I like that a lot on principle, but um yeah, it's sort of like the very gross and kind of disturbing but not by any means necessarily evil like practice of turning someone into a woodwode. Because generally, creatures that undergo the ritual do so willingly. It's like a druid ritual that's. Ah, okay. I am not familiar, but I guess I now am. So yeah, I like the idea of a curse, but I feel like this is only CR5. I wouldn't want it to be able to just like straight up petrify anybody. Um. Hmm. Curse of. I guess it could have a temporary petrification. Now the roots thing I've already used too much. I think temporary petrification is generally okay. Look at the cockatrice. I think it was gonna be a curse, like it stares into them. It's just like glowing eyes. It's like turns you into wood. Um, I was just gonna have it be just temporary petrification. All right. I think that's actually kind of interesting. Naturalizing curse. Stands at a creature you can see within 30 feet of it. Let me look at Umber Hulks as well. Let's make a DC. What's the DC? DC 14. This should definitely be limited in use. This should be like once per day. Yeah, it should be once per day. Must make a DC 14. It shouldn't be con. It's like it's willing. It's wisdom. A wisdom saving throw. For monsters, it's a specific math. You base it off of a stat, and then you add proficiency to 8, like a spellcaster. That's always like for if you're like designing. Obviously, if you're doing it for your home game, it doesn't matter. But if you're making monsters with like in a book, that is how it works, and you're supposed to do it that way. It's very infrequently that WotC will derivate. Sometimes for very easy checks, they will specifically go out of their way to be like, oh, it's 8 plus proficiency instead. DC 14 wisdom saving throw. Magically petrified. Is to turn to plant matter. Oh, is it the end of... Oh, no, that's only for the cockatrice. Does the Medusa do the same? That is actually quite important, because that might have... Otherwise, the creature begins to turn to plant matter and is restrained. You have 2 shit players. Like, normally when people say stuff about players that are kind of sus, like I tend to be, I'm usually nice about it. Those 2 players are giant cunts. They either don't do that, they stop doing that, or you don't play with them. Like, 100%. Like, they are. They don't say it right. Okay, I think. I feel like you can very easily like internalize. You can take out that knowledge. Like, I've done it. I have not quite that level of insight. I don't know red caps, but I can tell you that a goblin has either 11 or 7 hit points and has nimble escape and has a scimitar attack. A goblin boss can make 2, the second one with disadvantage. You're like, I can tell you that, but I can still take that out of my mind when I'm playing the game. Like, and even if I'm unable to, it doesn't impact my playing. Like, my character is going to do what my character is going to do regardless. On a success, yeah. Says the effect ends. Yeah, that's fair. The creature's weight doesn't increase. It doesn't gain resistance to fire damage. Let me look at the Medusa. Yeah. This is Harris Heller still. I say that, it's all of it's Harris Heller. The removes curse spell ends it early. Okay, right. So that is the Wood. Right. Part of me is like kind of happy with this as is. Oh, I know what I can do. I can make a variant of the Wood-Woad. I can make a Wood-Woad variant. That will work quite well, actually. Wood-Woad Druid. Oh, that font looks weird. Yeah, so Harris Heller's stuff is all quite good. I don't think he's updated this playlist in a while. No, he hasn't updated it in like a year. Which, I mean, yeah, you can only write so much music, so I imagine he'll probably get some more in future. So a Wood-Woad Druid. Let me go grab Golem for an example of where I've used a variant. We'll write flavor text another time. Oh, hang on, no, this is a bad example. I think I have a... Let me snag the text off of this. So I remember it being a pain in the ass to get this to actually work. There we go. It has to be done like that. It's very awkward. That would be cool. I do kind of like that, but the main thing I want to do a druid. Multi attack. No. I'll just... spell casting. Ability score. Wisdom. Modifier. 1, 3. Cool. Ooh. Oh no, this should work. This should be okay. At will. Oh god, what can I cast at will? Druidcraft. That's a big one. Druidcraft. Let me look at like level 1 druid spells. First and second level druid spells, why not? Entangle. That's. I mean, maybe not at will for entangle. Ooh, Moonbeam. That's quite good. Right, let's just say it has Druidcraft. So I don't think there's any other like good options. Wait, no, it does need a ranged test, so I guess it could have Thorn Whip. It actually would not benefit from it at all, I don't think. Or just wouldn't, I think. Multi-attack. BR. Yeah, that should work. First. Yeah, that works just fine. Excellent. Wait, no, not first level. 2 per day each. Look at the firsts. What first level spells can it cost more? Let's give it Entangle. Fairy Fire. And Snare. Have I bothered with those? Can I, like... No, I haven't. Let's not bother then. Oh wait, no. One per day each. Plant growth. Summon beast. No, let's not give him summon beast. Fairy Fire, Snare, Plant Growth, Wither and Bloom, 3rd level version. There was another second that I was going to look at. What was it? I might as well just not bother with Cure Wounds if they get Wither and Bloom. That's actually kind of more interesting. Oh, wait, no, I'm stupid. Why did I do that? I was just doing that. Plant Growth, Wither and Bloom, 3rd level version. Moonbeam. And the Woodward should probably just get Landstride anyway. Shit. I guess there's not really a huge amount to write about with Woodwards, really. There's just like... that still works okay. I still have a good amount of room to write about the Woodwards, like, you know, the stat block can move down to here, and the variant can be... And let me just make sure that, like... I can't just, like, remove it by doing this. Yeah, let's go stay like that, but that's fine. Yeah, I think I'm going to finish up there. I didn't get as much done today as I wanted to, but we had some, like, interesting discussions about bits and pieces, so I'm not too fussed. I'm going to look at doing the Kelpie for myself tonight, and that leaves me with 2 monsters left to do. I think that is... That's hopefully, that's... I guess the evil myconids, that's like a subcategory of creature, but, like, I will see what I can do. I've had a good time today, though. We did get an okay amount done. I will seek to stream again. God, am I doing anything on Sunday? It's Mother's Day on Sunday. I may be busy. I'm not sure. But I'll work it out. But yeah, we are so close to finishing. I think we're like we're definitely like 1 or 2 streams of this kind of length. Or probably we're 1 or 2 streams period away from just being done. I will write down later on that I'm going to do the Kelpie tonight. Because it is Friday and I do not have a game to run tonight. Oh, that's a thing actually. No, I will definitely not be streaming tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to be preparing my game. Because I have a lot to prepare tomorrow, so... But yeah, we will work things out. Yeah, I hope folks enjoy themselves. I will be back. I may try and be about on Monday afternoon, but I make no promises because I do have something going on in the evening, and if I have a lot of work to be doing, then I won't be. Otherwise, I'll be back on Tuesday, hopefully. But yeah, I'm gonna head off here. See ya.